Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillah rabbil alamin wassalatu wassalamu ala asyrafil anbiya wal mursalin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Alhamdulillah, with the grace, mercy, love and guidance from Allah Subhanahu wa taala, we continue our da'wah to give ideas about ilmu tauhid, kalam kosmologi, as well as many others in terms of our training and video that we have in YouTube, more than 600 videos, and you can be trained to become our life coach. Go to our website, and also you can understand how and why we are doing this to help shape and transform the ummah to face the challenges of the 21st century using our book Positive Islamic Psychology. We have both the Indonesian version and the English version, and inshallah in other languages too in the future. What is important is for us to know about nature of our belief. So the first fundamental idea, that is the sifah that is wajib on Allah, is His wujud. So I have given you the idea, the kalam cosmological argument on the wujud of Allah. We have gone through Imam Ghazali, the premises of wujud, why Allah is not bounded by the absurd situation of a tasasul or adar, and all the other areas of argument. So what is important is basically, I have given you many ideas of the scientific proof. Today I'm going to give you an idea of the fine-tuning of biological information in living matter. So why does the existence, our existence as a body, as a species, and existence of all animals in the world, all the species in the world, all the birds, the bees, the trees and so on, all boils down to information. That information comes from our DNA and RNA, which if we are going to be born onto this earth, the egg from our mother and the sperm from our father fuse together and become zygote, and from the zygote it splits from 1 cell to 2, 2 to 4, 4 to 8, 8 to 16 and so on, and become exponential, and within 9 months inshallah we will be born into this earth. And what directs that baby to become black or white, directs the baby to have a blue eye or a green eye or a brown eye, or directs that baby to have black hair or blonde hair, whatever. All that is driven by the DNA structure. So that DNA structure is billions of bits of information in that. So it is like a super duper 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 computer that no computer in the world can replicate. In one cell, imagine that. One teeny weeny cell that grow and become you. So that one cell has all the information about you from the perspective of our existence in the physical body. And that is directed by the Creator, God. So it cannot come by chance. The impossibility of DNA existing by chance is infinite. So many scientists, biologists, it just cannot be done. It cannot exist except it is by the will and the design of the Creator. So if you talk about the will and the design of the Creator, we are talking about the wujud of Allah. So from ilmu kalam, apart from just the logical kalam argument, we bring in the scientific argument so that you can have a better grasp, so that when you face those so-called scientific atheists, you can show them the videos and tell them, okay, this is what we believe. Oh, it's by chance. Then you prove to us by chance. Can you produce one DNA structure? No scientist to this world can produce one DNA structure. Yes, they can modify the structure. They can look through all the A, C, T and G strand, and then they cut, like CRISPR technology can cut and then fuse together. But what they get? They get mutants. They get odd creatures or odd things that is manifested by this so-called technology. But it is not that it is there. They are just manipulating the DNA to make this or make that, whatever that they think is suitable. But we are playing with fire. So if we do all kind of things, if they edit the gene to such an extent, say a virus or bacterial gene, and it escape, and that virus or bacterial gene can act like an Ebola, but it's more potent than an Ebola. As we breathe, all of us will die. So all humanity will die by just playing around with the genes. So this is where it is so powerful. So Allah is the creator of the whole gene mechanism. Allah is the creator of the DNA. Allah is the creator of the universe, and we can prove of the wujud of Allah. So I'm going to show you some video, inshallah. From then you can then realize that our belief in the existence of Allah. His wujud is rational and must be believed by every creature who's not arrogant, who submit to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with the fullness of belief, inshallah.
The statements we're about to show you are from the Holy Quran and is said to be the official, unchanged, pure word of God, revealed over 1400 years ago. Claiming to be the word of God is a heavy statement, and without proof, or if a single contradiction is found within the book, the apparent word of God will be proven false. So without further ado, let's put the book to the test. In the 23rd chapter, titled The Believers, from the 12th to the 14th verses, God is said to give a detailed description of how the human being is formed. It begins by saying, "We then placed him as a sperm drop in a place of settlement, firmly fixed. Then we made the drop into a alaqa." We will translate this word very soon. "And then we changed the alaqa into a lump. Then we made out of that lump into bones. And then we clothed the bones with flesh. Then we caused him to grow and come into being and attain the definitive human form." In the 21st century, we can now safely say that this verse is clearly describing the process of human development in correct chronological order. However, what we should be paying attention to in particular is the second stage, referring to the development of the embryo. The specific word used to describe the embryo in this verse is the word alaqa. The word alaqa, when translated into English, can mean three separate things. Firstly, a blood clot, or to be suspended, that is to be hanging or clinging to something, or thirdly and finally, a leech. Now, all three definitions don't come anywhere near what we perceive to be the human embryo. So, why are these words used, and what significance do they share with the human embryo? Can the embryo be described as a blood clot? Well, what do you think? In the 3rd week of embryonic development, a tubular heart joins with the blood vessels to form a primordial cardiovascular system, and by the end of the 3rd week, the blood is circulating and the heart begins to beat on day 21. The first thing that comes to mind in regards to being suspended or hanging is the umbilical cord. But we can't use that example because we are simply referring to step 2, before the baby has even formed. But we now know today that the umbilical cord is formed from the connecting stalk. And the connecting stalk is formed as soon as the embryo is formed. The embryo's connecting stalk has even been described by John Allen and Beverly Kramer as an object to suspend the developing embryo in the extra-embryonic column. So an embryo is suspended and does have a strong resemblance with the blood clot. What on earth would an embryo have to do with a leech? Figure A shows the structure of an embryo at 25 days. Figure B shows a leech. Now please note once again that the embryo in this stage is no greater than the size of a kernel of wheat. This is an X-ray of the embryo at 22 days. This is the internal structure of a leech. It's mind-blowing stuff, but you still haven't seen anything yet. This is the head of the embryo at 22 days. The detail you are seeing right now is absolutely impossible to be seen with the human eye and can only be seen with a microscope. This is the back end of a leech. There's no other words used to describe this other than mind-blowing. The pictures we have shown you are impossible to be seen with the human eye or even to be predicted by the human mind. Once again, the verses we have shown you were revealed over 1400 years ago to a man who couldn't read nor write. Are these the words of God?
Descriptions of the human embryo in the Quran cannot be based on scientific knowledge in the 7th century. The only reasonable conclusion is that these descriptions were revealed to Muhammad from God, from God, from God, from God, from God.